Hi, welcome to Right of Way. And we're joined this afternoon by Frank of visor.ph, and we're here in front of the, what is this called? What's the bridge?
It's called the Rockwell Bridge.
The rockwell-mandaluyong bridge.
I think it's the Estrella-Pantaleon Bridge.
The Estrella-Pantaleon Bridge. And
everyone calls it Rockwell.
Or the Rockwell Bridge. And we're here, and we're having a little iced tea in the afternoon. It's a warm afternoon. Cheers, right?
First of all.
Yep, and we'll talk a little bit about the Estrella-Pantaleon Bridge, which they just closed. When did they close it? 2 days ago. So, I haven't really been keeping up with the issue with this bridge, Frank, and I know it's been very controversial.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the background of this.
Well, they wanted to close it last year in September, and they failed because people were upset that it would cause chaos during Christmas traffic.
Yeah.
Because this is Rockwell, right? Everyone wants to go shopping. So we wrote about it, everyone else wrote about it, and they decided to postpone it. And now they've proposed it a couple more times, and now they've finally gone through with closing it, and there's no way back. If you see the pictures of it, if you look at it, they've actually already dug up the roadway. So what happened last time is that they close and reopen cannot happen. They literally made sure it's like, you know, everything there's diggers on it, it's done. So this bridge is going down.
And why do people oppose it? I mean, I'm not familiar with the project. So isn't it better to have a wider bridge? I mean, what's
well, the plan is at the moment it's a 2-lane bridge, and they're going to rip it down and replace it with a 4-lane bridge, 2 lanes each way.
Okay.
Now, one of the big problems with that is this famous saying that widening roads to cure traffic problems is like loosening your belt to cure obesity.
Correct.
It just doesn't work. You don't need to be a rocket scientist or a traffic planner to understand that principle. And it's very sad that we create more space for cars. We should push other options, not give cars more space. So they're going to replace this with 4 lanes. Apparently, and this really in all the press releases did feel like an afterthought, apparently they're also planning to widen both ends where they end, because it ends in
2 lanes.
Yeah, it ends in 2 lanes, and
right.
it's already, I live over there. I see the chaos every day. There's no space for more cars.
Is there space to widen the road on that side?
Not really. So there's one conspiracy theory which I heard the other day, which is interesting. That they scheduled 30 months for this project, and that's over 2 years for a very small bridge with a couple of concrete pillars.
30 months?
Yes, 30. So 2021 you get this bridge back.
Wow.
And this is done by a Chinese company. Now if there's one thing China can do, it's build fast.
Right.
Just look at China, they build skyscrapers in a week.
Yeah.
So literally they did that with this one hotel bridge. They don't need 30 months to build a bridge like this. So there must be, the conspiracy theory is, it already includes some of the widening work, but they haven't said it, because otherwise the people who are about to be replaced over there would get angry.
And then nobody knows about the details of what they're going to do. And I think this is one of the problems with the project, is the public is kept in the dark about what the plans are.
It was badly communicated. So it's not like that's Makati traffic.
On a Sunday afternoon.
It's already, this is because the bridge is closed. It's already getting worse now.
Yeah, so I can imagine. So tomorrow will be the first weekday that this thing is going to be closed.
And tomorrow will be the first day where we really get a picture of how bad it will be. There's varying numbers. Between 25 and 100,000 cars use this bridge every day, depending who you listen to and what day of the week it is. Let's say it's minimum 25,000 cars, which I think is a fair number. They have to go somewhere else now. Yeah. So they're going to either go Guadalupe, Edsa, which is already over capacity,
for sure.
or they go Makati-Mandaluyong, Makati-Pantaleon, which is also already, that's my way to work. It's already way over capacity.
If I can play devil's advocate for a moment, Frank. Before this bridge was put up, people were using the Makati-Mandaluyong and Guadalupe already. So how does it differ?
This was 7-8 years ago.
Perhaps.
Look around you. How many more buildings do you see? Two. The city is growing at a staggering pace. Also, in the last 7-8 years, we have seen a real boom in car sales. The economy has been booming. People finally get into this dream of owning a car. So traffic levels have gone up drastically, which means we have a lot more people, a lot more cars going to a lot more places. So it's, we've moved on. We need to...
And, see, this is the thing, Frank. When government agencies undertake these projects, they are so poor at communicating to the public what their plans are and what we can expect. So come Monday morning, it's going to be chaos. I mean, people know it's going to be closed, but have they put up the alternative routes? Have they told people where to pass? And if they haven't done that, it's going to be chaos on Monday.
Well, they've put up a few, I think, Facebook posts, MMDA tried to do it and things, but the problem is, people won't care. People will use Waze.
Yeah.
And they're going to go where Waze tells them to go.
Right.
And that's not necessarily going to be where MMDA tells them to go. So that's, you're right, they're very bad at communicating. And I don't think anyone is against any measures to make traffic easier, but not only did they communicate it badly, the project itself also doesn't, on the face of it, seem to make a lot of sense.
And did they even involve the communities? Did they talk to the residents around here, the commercial establishments, the offices? And did they consult with them? Did they talk with them? Do you know?
I don't know of anyone who was involved. Obviously, the city halls would have been somewhat involved, and there were meetings, but I don't know of any resident who was asked, about, do you want twice as many cars going past your door? No, I don't know of anyone.
And what I seem to see on the internet is a lot of people just objecting to, because a lot of people have been kept in the dark for what's going to happen, how it's going to work. And as you said, 30 months to build this bridge, to widen it to 4 lanes.
Something's up.
I don't know, unless it's a drawbridge or
this is so, maybe in a year's time this conspiracy will become true, that they will unveil the other part of it, which is the widening, which in the case of Mandaluyong would have to include the demolishing of houses.
Yeah. Because on that side of the bridge, I mean, I don't go through this bridge very often, maybe half a dozen times in my life. But when you get on the other side, it's 2 lanes, as you said. You've got this big residence here, which you can't move anymore.
That's brand new as well?
That's brand new, so you can't move that. So you're going to move, coming from this side, you're going to have to build on the right side of the road. You have to expand on the right side.
Well, you have the little road by the river, that you can't really widen, because there's, at least the part by the bridge can't be widened without demolishing private residences. You have the road going up towards Boni, you can't really widen that without demolishing houses. So I can't really see how this works without upsetting a lot of people, which is probably why they say, oh, we'll do it later, don't worry. And then in 1 year's time, they just drop the hammer and say, by the way, part of this project, you're all homeless.
Yeah. As a Filipino, and I'm kind of embarrassed to talk to people like you who come from places like Germany, where planning is so good generally, and and here things seem to be done on a very ad hoc basis. I mean, they seem to be making things up as they go along.
Sometimes seems like it, but I mean, I'm sure there's some good people in government who try their best. So they're not all,
No, they're not all
bad people.
There are lots of good people trying to do good things.
But like they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. There has to be a plan behind it, and arguably a plan for a city like Metro Manila is vastly complex. And I wouldn't want to be the one responsible for planning traffic in this place, because there's so many. Everyone wants to be like all these. We call them job spurs, right?
Yeah.
So from barangay captain to councillor to mayor, they all have to be pleased. And they're all going to be shouted at by their constituents if a road is wrong or there's traffic. There's so many people to keep happy.
And
it's an impossible job.
And I think that's one of the problems that you point out correctly, is that there are just so many overlapping jurisdictions, whether it's the barangay, whether it's a local government unit, or a national government agency such as the DPWH, or even a metro-wide agency like MMDA, that are all sort of overlapping jurisdictions as far as something like this is concerned. Because you have the barangay, you have the local governments of Makati and Mandaluyong, you've got MMDA, and you've got the DPWH, all sort of...
You have a lot of people to keep happy, and I think it's an impossible job. We will never have the perfect system in a city like this. It's just... You're never going to be Singapore, because the way we got here is not how Singapore became what they are. And I don't think I would want to live in Singapore. It's too extreme. It's too, clean and drastic. Yeah. There's a certain charm to this chaos. If you go, for example, to Hong Kong, they have
Don't say that too loud.
No, but there's, see, well, you mentioned Germany. Germany isn't perfect by any means, and some of the rules there are too strict. So we are getting in our own way by being, too rigid with things. Sometimes you need a bit of flexibility. You need a little bit of chaos and let people and things go where they just naturally go. Traffic's like water; it flows. So if you try and control it too rigidly, it might not work.
I think you're right. It's a combination of having good rules, but also the flexibility to realize that things can't always abide by rules, because you need a little flexibility, especially as you said, dealing with traffic.
Ideally, you need to build cities based on waste, not based on traffic plans. But, technology comes into this as well. And say, for example, autonomous cars, what China is doing now. Everyone here, like Mercedes and all those guys, they're building hugely complex, very expensive cars that can one day drive on their own, like the Teslas. And these cars will never ever work here because they're just not designed for this. They can't read the road signs, they can't read the traffic.
Yeah, I can't imagine a self-driving car having to do with tricycles and the pedestrians.
I know some manufacturers, I can't say who, but I know some of them who have these systems, but we switch them off when the cars come here, because the system cannot work here. So they actually have to switch these systems off again. Before they sell the car here. Because it just would go bang, it would just stand there. So you do it the way China does. They use a centralized system. It's like a cloud-based system with cameras, but everything is centralized, and they give all this data to all the cars. And the cars can be much dumber and much cheaper. And then the centralized cloud system tells the car where to go, what to do. Well, it's like a supercharged race. So you drive through China in your self-driving car. The car doesn't do the work. The car connects to the cloud, says, I want to go to this mall, I need a parking space. Okay, sir, that's full calculated, and it controls all the cars. That's the ultimate solution.
But if I were driving one of those cars, I'd be worried about who's watching my movements and who's...
That's the other thing,
right?
You are being tracked.
Yeah, you are being tracked. So there's a dark side and light side to that.
But then, Facebook and Waze and everyone tracks you already. So.
Yeah, I know, but they're decentralized.
Oh, there's still government access, don't worry.
Well, I think maybe on that note, we'll end our first Twitter Live event. I'd like to thank Frank and visor.ph for joining us this afternoon. I don't know, Frank, what if we do this on a regular basis? We'll have like a porch discussion every month or something. Different topic, different part of the city.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Okay. Cool. Great.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.